Welcome everybody to Noodle Doodle, another episode of Noodle Doodle. Yay! So, um, so the holidays are here, and the holidays are here, and we just had Thanksgiving, and I'm very excited about that. It's a really cool opportunity to say thank you to so many people. I say thank you to everyone here on Noodle Doodle and also on my live stream, some thanks over there and pretty much everywhere like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just everywhere that I normally post artwork and have people following me there. Um, yeah, I just say thanks, because I'm grateful for all those people that do all of those cool things for me. And yeah, so it's the holidays. All throughout the year, I'm very grateful for everything that happens to me. Both good and bad, because the good experiences, you keep them close to your heart, and um, they become part of your life. And then the bad ones you learn from. And I think that's an important thing to always keep in mind. Turn an obstacle into an opportunity. So yeah, just want to put that out there before we start today's prompt. I'm gonna stay on the same page. The last prompt we did was a voodoo doll, and that's the little voodoo doll right there. And then today we have a tiki idol. Tiki idol. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But speaking of tiki idols, I'll I'll dive a little bit backwards into my life. So when I was little, I want to say around maybe 10, 8, around, yeah, I would say 8 or 9 years old. Um, my parents switched my room, and I was sharing a room with my sister, and so they redecorated the house. They made a couple of changes here and there. Uh, I used to share a bedroom with my grandmother, and which I have her photo here on my desk. So it's kind of ironic that I look at it. But anyways, yeah, I shared a room with my grandma, and it was really really cool. And my parents rearranged the house, and kind of we had to make some room for other things and this and that. And so, anyways, I ended up sharing another room, which was a garage converted into a room with my second oldest sister. So, is that right? My oldest sister, and then her younger sister, I should say, but it's my older sister. So, anyways, I was sharing a room with her, and that's kind of really where I started drawing a lot, and I started doodling a lot, and just kind of creating a lot of artwork. And I remember how I mentioned in a prior podcast, my parents didn't really know much about art and stuff like that. So it's a funny story that came out of it, right? They didn't know much about art or art supplies or art stores. And back then there was supply stores, but they were like mom and pop type deals. So they tended to have art supplies for painting, art supplies for drafting and stuff like that. They didn't really have modern day tools like they do now, you know. And of course, they were expensive and all that good stuff. But in the stores, pardon me, before big box stores, before Walmart, before Target, before any of that stuff, they had Sears, and they had J.C. Penney's, and a few nickel and dime stores, which were really cool to visit. Like those were my favorite stores to visit. Stuff like McCrory's and things like that, where they had the store. It was a small store, kind of like a general store, but it had a diner in it, and so we would go there and grab lunch or grab breakfast if we went early enough. And I'm pretty sure that they in that store is where my parents got this art set for me. So they knew I was drawing, and oh look, for Christmas, let's get the boy some paint, right? So they ended up buying Tester's paint. And if you're familiar with Tester's paint, then you get a little giggle out of it the same way I just did, because Tester's paint basically is enamel paint for model kits. So like if you're building model cars or planes or tanks, these little vials of paint is what you use to to paint these models. So they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. They bought me this set, and hey, look, we got you some paints. And I'm like, oh, cool, awesome. And of course, I was a kid. I didn't know any better, right? I didn't know any better. So I'm using these things. Hmm. I forgot. For my custom pops, I do have some here, and this is basically a tester's bottle. So they bought me a whole set of these, and yeah. So I'm a kid. I don't know any better. I'm like, yay, I got paint, and I start dipping and this and that, whatever. And of course, I'm not using any thinner. I'm not using alcohol or anything like that to kind of work with these things because they're alcohol based. And so anyways, I'm painting this and painting that. Man, these things suck, and oh my god, and they're eating up the paper, and now the paper's getting stuck to the desk, and all kinds of weird things weird things are happening. um, so then I was like, oh, okay. Later on in life, I figured out what happened. They bought me this set. I was reading up on it, and I was like, oh my god, these are the same ones my mom and dad got me. And and it made for a funny joke, or funny story at least, I should say. And anyways, going back to that, when I read this prompt, Tiki Idol, uh, in that room, I would spend hours and hours and hours just drawing and playing with my toys, and my imagination was really really wild back then. Um, and I had a small little TV. Cable TV was brand new. And I don't remember the channel or how I would watch it, but Gilligan's Island would come on, right? I'm a kid. Come on, Gilligan's Island. It's these people that are stuck on an island. These two beautiful women, Ginger and Marianne. I'm a kid, so I'm like, nice, she's pretty. She's pretty. Let me watch this, right? So I watch Gilligan's Island. I'm really into the stories, and I love them very, very much. And what happens? Well, I start drawing tiki stuff, everything like bamboo shacks and houses made out of bamboo and boats and little beach scenes and things like that. All based off of this, you know, this show, Gilligan's Island, right? And so it became my thing. I love it very much. And when I saw this prompt, I was like, ooh, this is taking me back, right? This is cool. So yeah, just thinking about that sort of stuff and going back in time is always really, really cool. And even though they had no idea what was going on, they did their best to get me something, right, to help me out with my art, and I appreciate that. Till this day, to this day, I still appreciate that. So yeah, Tiki Tiki Idol. And I believe there was an episode I'm gonna have to go back because it's been years, right? So I believe there was an episode of Gilligan's Island that dealt with a tiki idol. I think, uh, which is funny because I live here in Orlando, and Universal opened up this water park called Volcano Bay, and they have all these little totems and stuff everywhere from the photos that I've seen. So I'm gonna have to visit that and kind of feel like I'm at Gilligan's Island. So, anyways, I just thought it was funny how they made everything with coconuts. They made a radio work with coconuts and bamboo, and of course the professor, he knew everything. But this was a really cool treat, and just to see, Tiki Idol. It's like, man, I used to draw these all the time, and it was really funny because, of course, the Tiki Idols, they look weird, and they have these crazy, looking faces, right? They're all angry, and some of them have their tongue out, and and I remember my grandma, she was she was really she was really superstitious, and and of course she didn't really understand what I was doing. She's like, "Why are you drawing this? This is bad. Don't draw these." And, "Oh, grandma, it's okay. They're tiki gods." What tiki god? What is that? What are you talking about? um, she didn't speak very much English, so she didn't understand what was going on or what was Gilligan's Island or any of that stuff. She had no idea. And so, anyways, to her defense, here I am drawing these drawing these masks or creatures, with these faces on them. And she's wigging out. She's like, "Don't draw that," you know. It's so funny. I I'm curious. I'm curious now uh to see what my parents thought about it. I'm drawing all this crazy stuff. It's like, why is he drawing that? I don't understand. Why is he? Oh man. But yeah, going back to these stores and stuff. McCrory's. So they had McCrory's in this place called Coral Gables, and in Coral Gables there was this like strip of stores. Some of them were really fancy boutiques, and then the other ones were just like general stores and stuff like that. And I remember they had a McCrory's there, and I gotta see if I go back there because it's been ages since I've been back there, like back home. Uh, all my family lives back there, so I don't get to see them very often just because of work and schedules and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, McCrory's. They I used to love going there because they had action figures and they had all kinds of stuff like that. And I want to say that's around the time I was watching Battlestar Galactica. So the 70s version of Battlestar Galactica. I then later on as an adult saw the new one, the reinvented Battlestar, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. So, anyways, yeah, that's around that time uh, where I was watching Battlestar Galactica and all of these different things, and I remember they had the toys there, and of course, GI Joe started emerging out, Transformers started coming out, all these different things, right? Trying to see where my markers are. I grab my markers real quick, real quick. Oh, I was not ready. So highly unprofessional on this super chill podcast that I do, right? Don't figure everything out at once. So, anyways, yeah, all those toys were coming out, and that was a cool place to go get them. And uh, so yeah, it's cool. I don't think those. God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think those stores are around anymore. I don't. I don't really think they're gonna be around. At least if they are, like, wow, crazy. So, anyways, Tiki Idols, Tiki Idols, Gilligan's Island. Oh man, what a blast, right? Um, I remember the episode where they finally got off the island. It's like, yeah, we're out of here. Only to return to the island. And I want to say they tried some kind of spin off. I might be wrong on that, but did they try a spin off? Did I just have the realization that that was the very first Lost? Oh my god. J.J. Abrams, you're not a genius. You just ripped off Gilligan's Island. Actually, I watched a lot of Lost too. So J.J. Abrams is one of my favorite directors, and that was a good one too, right? Lost. Yeah, everybody. Nobody likes the ending. That ending was dumb. What do you mean they're all dead? It's like, dude, come on. Nobody survives a plane crash like that. At least not like that one. Oceanic Flight was like doomed. They're done for. Great little show. Uh, Anyways, I have the tendency to watch things over and over again. So now that I'm doing this Tiki Idol, uh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island just for the heck of it, right? So I'm gonna have to find that somewhere. Wonder if anybody streams that. Hey, if you guys know, leave me a comment because I would like to watch it. I would like to watch Gilligan's Island again. Yeah, why not? Gilligan's Island. So, anyways, yeah, the holidays always make you think about stuff, and I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful for everything that comes my way. So this particular prompt brought it all back. Brought it all back. Of course, I'm thankful for my family, my kids, my wife. I'm thankful for all my family back home. I love them very much, and I miss them. And so I'm gonna have to go back home sometime soon. So yeah, you can imagine me just sitting in that in that little room drawing tiki stuff and time for dinner. What the heck? What is this? Why are you drawing weird creatures? They're tiki guys. You wouldn't understand. I didn't know what they were. I was a kid too. I just know that I liked drawing them, and somewhere along the line, I saw them somewhere, and it could have been Gilligan's Island. It could be something else. I have no idea. They were just fun to draw, and so I would draw them. I would draw them, and they were fun. Yeah. All right. So, let's see what we do here. I think I'll ink a little bit to get it all started because we are running out of time. I usually do this podcast for about 20 minutes, and we're at the 21-minute mark. So I'll ink this and finish it later on. Yeah. I think I still have some. I think I still have some leftover pumpkin pie. Ooh. So I'm gonna have to get into that, right? Ooh, moving my coffee around. So yeah, this tiki idol is carved out of wood, so we gotta give it its three-dimensional look, right? Yeah, three-dimensional look on this tiki idol. There we go. I wonder. I wonder if they had fun filming Gilligan's Island. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna continue doing this. I hope they had fun. It was a cool show, and I liked it a lot. So I like drawing tiki idols and tiki stuff. I think a lot of people got into that whole Polynesian art style because it was a popular destination for people to travel to Hawaii and stuff like that, and all the Pacific Islands, and that sort of stuff was around, and then you had restaurants that were themed that way. You had a bunch of stuff, I'm pretty sure they're still around. I know that tiki stuff is starting to come back. I've seen coffee cups that are tiki, and things like that. There was a musical group that would do these, Polynesian style music, and I used to listen to it all the time. I gotta find it again because his name is escaping me. But the idea was for the band members to make, little bird noises and stuff like that. And oh, man, it kills me that it totally slipped my mind because I was listening to that sort of stuff earlier this year. But anyways, yeah, that kind of sets the mood, and I think for me, like, those uh, you have memories in life that stay with you, and then you combine them with other things that you're influenced with. So somewhere along the line, I I mixed in the African Queen, which is one of my favorite movies, but I saw it when I was a kid, and that's inside, I guess, the same folder inside the same memory cabinet of all of this stuff, of this tiki stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna continue doing this. Maybe I'll post it up on Instagram later on. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, or thanks for listening if you're just driving around or maybe sitting around listening to this podcast. Thank you very much for watching and for listening and liking and leaving me comments and whatever you want to do with that. But yeah, I am thankful for everything in my life, and we're just gonna keep going, right? We're gonna keep going, keep figuring it out. I want you all to have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.